Mythological stories throughout history describe going into the underworld as a necessary part of the journey to self-actualization. The character of Hecate is a powerful representation of our darkness as a place of healing, acceptance, and resource, a transformative place that remains shrouded in mystery and shadows. Our darkness only seems unfamiliar until we venture into it. The myth of Demeter and Persephone is symbolic in that we are all taken into the underworld by something completely unexpected when our security is shattered and we are plunged into a world of darkness, depression, anger, despair. In the story of Demeter and Persephone, Demeter, the goddess of earth, of plenty, and the harvest, discovers her daughter is missing. One day, Persephone is minding her own business, frolicking and picking flowers, when her uncle Hades, god of the underworld, kidnaps her and drags her to the land of the dead to be his wife. Demeter is frantic to find her. Stricken and defeated, she scours the earth, but Persephone is nowhere to be found. Demeter becomes depressed, inconsolable, and in this current mood, the crops die and the earth becomes perpetual winter. Then she runs into Hecate. Hecate is the embodiment of female wisdom. She is the goddess of crossroads, comfortable in the realms of the unknown. Hecate consoled Demeter in her grief, just as friends or loved ones tend to do. But she also did something else of immense value. Her advice was to seek the truth. Hecate does a sort of wild dance, which makes Demeter laugh. This shift in the story is important because when Demeter laughs, the laughter can be seen as a shift of perspective. It's only after she laughs that Demeter then has a sudden inspiration and finds her daughter. An important aspect of the story is that the earth remains changed after Demeter finds Persephone. In order to rescue her daughter, a deal has been struck between Demeter and Hades. Persephone must return to the underworld each winter, and she is allowed to return each spring. Thus, the story of the seasons is born. If you look at the mythology as a representation of psychological states, the collective unconscious, we all have the seasons inside of us. We must all have times of winter, cyclical periods where we go inside and become, in a way, dormant as we travel throughout our own interior. Then spring comes and we emerge, reborn in a sense, with a new perspective. The timing of psychological seasons are different for everyone, whether trauma, change, or divine dissatisfaction drives us to the journey to self-knowledge. It is a journey that has to be taken if we are to grow. A disturbing reality of our culture is denial of our darkness. We are expected to remain in a perpetual state of the positive. The only way to be happy all the time is to pretend our sadness, trauma, our very shadow doesn't exist. Our depths are bypassed to chase something that's not real. We become divided, internally sick, driven by forces outside ourselves instead of our own truth. The concept of living from the inside out, that faith in ourselves is what connects us to the world we live in, begins as a microcosm, the world within. Joseph Campbell believed that the stories of spirituality and faith, all the world's mythologies, point to the hero's journey, a journey of walking into the underworld to face the dragons, ogres, and monsters, and in turn, the wise woman of our own darkness, to retrieve the treasures of self-knowledge. What would happen if we became willing to walk into our own underworld? This journey is the center point of why I'm an artist. The paintings are moments of vulnerability. They are all a part of a continuing conversation. As paintings, they become a part of a larger dialogue. The personal becomes universal. Deformity appeals to me. I don't want what I make to be perfect. I want to take an imperfect line and let it lead to something unexpected. I like broken objects, rusted, dug up, forgotten things. What seems like useless, disparate objects become symbols of unearthed treasures. The parts of myself I didn't want to see or experience do not go away. Instead of hoarding insecurities and becoming buried in what I don't wish to see, I decided on a museum of oddities instead. What was excavated now has room and light. In the underworld, I found humanity, tenderness, humor. Ultimately, there is comfort to be found in art that touches on darkness because instead of looking inside and seeing something repulsive, we are able to see something hopeful, broken but resurrected, with the face of an ogre and the heart of a giant. If we are unafraid of our own depths, darkness reveals a safe place, a refuge. It is familiar, personal, and uniquely ours.